All right, we should be getting started here any moment. Let me just enter the player's information. So I'm going to do a speed round, go over everything real quick. Our cast tonight is a Division 3 cast. We've got a new team, a free agent team, FAT Dionysus. They are a free agent team, as implied by the name. So it's players who, while some of them I imagine have played in competitive, haven't played together as a team. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. If you look at the standings, right now they did lose their first week match, but they did take a map during that. And their opponents are I Like My Bread, Boiled Not Fried. Great team name. They participated in the first season of Heroes Lounge, and they haven't come back until now. So, but there's definitely some names I recognize from TESPA teams and all that. So they took a 2-0 win in their first week, so doing pretty well. Looking forward to seeing how they do. If we go ahead and look at the map bans here, the home team is FAT Dionysus. They got first pick, so I Like My Bread decided to ban out both Garden of Terror and Alterac Pass, picking Infernal Shrines, while FAT Dionysus banned out Towers of Doom and Volskaya Foundry. So right now we are inside of the lobby for the first map on Infernal Shrines, which should hopefully start pretty soon. Any moment now. So we're gonna hopefully get into the draft any moment now. We've got an R from one team, just waiting on the other team. They had to get a sub, so that was the delay there. Thank you everybody for waiting it out. Thank you PikaWebs for the follow, coming in there during the break. And we should hopefully be jumping into the draft any moment now. Yep. Or not? No? Okay. Sorry. I'm getting a little bit baited out here. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, first, second, even third week, it's a little bit hard to determine the standings sometimes. So hopefully we'll get a nice back and forth matches, some not too stompy. But I think definitely I would favor I Like My Bread here. I think they're a team that I've seen these players play well together. At least 3 of them I recognize from TESPA, from the Collegiate Series. I played against them with my TESPA team and lost, and we're getting into the draft. So first pick is going to the free agent team here. So it'll be interesting to see what they prioritize. A lot of the time with free agent teams like this, you're going to see more focusing on comfort picks, kind of what they individually like, as opposed to more coordinated teams that have been together for a while, such as I Like My Bread. And so it'll be interesting to see what kind of comps we have come out. First pick, going for the Deathwing ban. I guess they just don't feel like playing it themselves, so makes sense that you ban it. He's definitely very strong. He might not necessarily be OP, but he very much controls what kind of draft you're able to use, which can really just be unfun. And if you don't feel comfortable with drafting the kind of draft that would work for that, then it makes sense if you want to not have to do that. Garrosh ban coming up from the other side. Makes sense. He's a pretty strong tank. He no longer targets the minions on the shrine, so he can get those throws in. Just walk up on your... If he's able to walk up on your backline with Indomitable and throw someone, it can be really a struggle there. So he's just an annoying tank. Makes sense that they ban him out. Kael'thas, as far as mages go, he offers great wave clear and shrine clear, and the fire bombs on the shrine make this map his best map by far, I would say. So another ban that just makes sense. He's very powerful. You don't want to have to deal with those chain bombs because they will ruin your day. So then the last ban here, Johanna, makes sense. Another good tank for the map. Similar to Kael'thas, offers a lot of control and AoE to kind of get that shrine going. So the first pick here now on the side of free agent team Dionysus. It'll be interesting to see here what they're prioritizing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a mage with AoE like Jaina or Gul'dan for that shrine clear, or even a tank who has some nice zoning potential. And we are going to see the tank. We're going to see an ETC here for Dirk. Nice name.
Let the games begin.
And a quick Medivh pick from Venser. I do believe that that was a hero that was banned out against him a lot in Tespa. Interestingly enough, we've got Wex here on the tank, playing a Nubrak, a very aggressive tank, works well with Medivh. I say it's interesting because I remember that he was a wonderful support player, or heal player in Tespa, so it's interesting to see him playing a bit of a different role here than he has maybe in the past. But makes sense, you've got some different players on this than he had on his Tespa team. And he is probably one of the higher level players, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do here. We're going to see Lucio picked up as well as Gul'dan. Lucio, a nice AoE healer, able to help out your team there from that side. Very strong late game, but a kind of weaker early game. Gul'dan, also pretty similar. He is that mage that I was talking about who has a lot of shrine clear. This is another great map for Gul'dan. So makes sense that he's getting picked here. We are going to see a Sylvanas ban. Makes sense just as a hero. A lot of people consider her to be very strong right now. I would agree. She is very strong right now. Her ability to do a lot of damage output and to enhance every single push is just really destructive. And it makes sense that you want to get rid of her on this map, because it can be a little bit snowbally if you start losing those structures early. So now I'd like to see something with a bit more shrine clear. We've got the aggressive stance from Venser on his Medivh and Wex on the Nubarak. So I'd like to see some AoE, something like a Jaina that can follow up on the aggression but also give them some more shrine clear. We're going to see Deckard. Makes sense. This is traditionally his best map. He's able to just throw out the potions and be safe and control a huge zone with his roots and stuff. And then Raynor picked up, also another hero that is very strong right now. He recently got buffed. No one's quite sure why, but hey, it makes him insanely high priority right now for some teams. And it's a really solid pickup. So to finish out the draft from the side of FAT Dionysos, we're going to see Leoric for the offlane, another great AoE clear kind of hero, as well as Greymane. A really just solid comp from them. Not necessarily any super synergistic features, but just tons of heroes that are great, powerful on the map, all kinds of all things that I like to see. And to finish it up, we have Ragnaros. Gonna be the one who's giving them the shrine clear, gonna fill the offlane role for them, but with the double support of Medivh, they're feeling okay taking a bit of a squishier offlaner there. So two very solid drafts. I think the burden of execution, as you would expect, is on the Medivh composition. They're going to be looking to be aggressive and they need to really perform on that aggression. But if they're able to, it's going to show and it's going to hurt, and I think we would see a Medivh ban in game 2. But both compositions here are absolutely great. I really look forward to seeing what kind of goes down. I think the shrine phase is going to be the strong part for FAT Dionysus, but they really need to be careful during the shrine phase, but also outside of the shrine phase, because that is when we're going to see Venser and Wex looking for the aggression, looking to really put on a lot of pressure. I'll be interested to see if the Ragnaros decides to opt into Sulfuras Smash for just additional aggression and a lot better team fight over the shrines, or if they're going to go for the Lava Wave and try and just get that macro pressure going while the other 4 members of their team are just being aggressive and pushing the map or stealing camps or whatever it may be, using the portals of Medivh and the aggression that a Nubrak can give. Although there are some really nice options to take care of the aggression here from the side of FAT Dionysus with the damage reduction here from Leoric, as well as stuff like Horrify, the sound barrier at 10. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got, for the side of FAT Dionysus, Dirk on the ETC, Root Beer Guy on the Leoric, Widwen on the Gul'dan, King Andrew the sub on Greymane, Exorcist on Lucio. And on the other side, we've got 4 I like my bread boiled, not fried, Wex Andun on the Anubarak, Draco Malcolm on the Raynor, Mexican Hanu on the Deckard Kane. We've got Mundane Zebra on the Ragnaros, and then we have Venser as he comes down right as I go to check on the Medivh. So, getting off into the mid lane, you're going to see a little bit of aggression maybe, but mostly just scouting it looks like right now from Venser. He does want to try and get stacked as soon as possible so he doesn't have to have that burden of trying to be extra careful throughout the match. So it'll be interesting to see. Look, another nice thing about the Lucio here, which we already kind of saw, is he gives you some nice quick rotations. Granted, Medivh with the portals can do that too. But already FAT Dionysus getting ahead, and that is also in part thanks to the fact that Greymane and Gul'dan, 2 G name heroes, both give really excellent wave clear, which is going to keep them ahead in the shrine and in the lane phase. Now, if they can keep that up when Wex and Venser are being aggressive on the Medivh, I'm gonna have to check that so many times. Oh, and Leoric dies solo to the Ragnaros. A little bit of B-stepping here. Looks like Mundane Zebra's keyboard might be having a little issues, but it won't be too much of an issue. Death kills don't give much XP right now, and Leoric is already back up thanks to his trait there, getting some nice value. Both teams going for the siege camp. Yeah, if you look at the XP, you can see only 347 heroes experience. And really, that's hardly a dent, as both teams get their mercenaries out here. Venser looking for stacks. We're going to be checking in to see how he's doing throughout the game. Right now sitting at 13. Ragnaros opting for a Q build at least to start, ending up going for the Fire Ward for the spell armor there. Interestingly enough, we have the Behemoth armor here. Widwen getting some aggression towards them, going to get taken down. There is a lot of damage from this Rainer, and they need to definitely be careful about that. We do have Regeneration Master for the Anubarak here. Something I do think is very good on this map if you're able to get those double rotations like they have been, because it is going to give him a lot of extra survivability. And because the spell armor might not be as useful against this composition, with Gul'dan more dot focused and Greymane not really doing that much spell damage. Looks like we're going to see King Andrew on the Greymane and Exorcist looking for this siege camp, saying, you know, top lane is a lot closer than bottom lane. Let's grab this as opposed to our bruisers. But the aggression with the Medivh portals, we're going to see I like my bread boiled, not fried, electing to just invade on the bruiser camp since they know that they had to have somebody down there to get that siege camp. So both teams about level 6, 2 kills though so far already for I like my bread boiled, not fried, as the first shrine phase is going to go ahead and begin. 5 stacks right now on the Behemoth armor. We're going to be watching to see how high he can get that. A lot of people prefer to go into the upgrade for adrenaline rush there because of the fact that with the armor it really gives you a lot more effective HP than the Behemoth armor might. A nice power slide on Venser, but he is going to be able to get out just fine. As we see the bruiser camp proxying the wave here a bit, but it is going to die to the towers there. Ragnaros had gone down bottom, it looks like, to soak a little bit, push out that camp. But it is, as expected, a lead on the shrine for FAT Dionysus. Venser having to get out of there as he is low and does not want to lose those stacks. Except he doesn't need to even worry about it because he's already done with his stacks. We're going to see ETC fall to the Rainer, and all of the members of FAT Dionysus are starting to get low, especially Lucio and Greymane. Greymane's going to fall, and so are Leoric and Gul'dan. Wow, only 2 minions needed, but FAT Dionysus is going to be forced off of the shrine. Lots of just great engage from Wex Andon, really just punishing the clumping of the opposing team, and that is 6 kills to 0 already. Leoric is respawning. I don't know if he'll be able to get these two. He is not, and he's just going to die for it. And Exorcist on the Lucio also dying up top there too. Both of them trying so hard to get the last few minions, but the Punisher is still going to end up going to the red team, as well as a level and a half lead. Rainer's sitting at 14 stacks now. But it does look like, thanks to the Greymane and the fact that this is an early Punisher, it's going to get cleared up nice and easily. That is what you would kind of expect from a team with a Greymane on it. They are going to be able to de-push those big health objectives easier than some other teams. Aggression now going onto the Siege Camp and onto Exorcist onto Lucio, but he's going to be able to speed boost his way out. The portal threatening a little bit by Venser, but he's going to be just fine. Go ahead and portal right back out as they take this camp. A nice, easy invade for them. Leoric just pushing up top. Ragnaros is going to be able to catch those minions, it looks like, though, as he's going straight up there. They're going to go ahead and start on their own camp on the side of I Like My Bread. So they're looking to just try and get all of the things on the map, try and get XP, get to that level 10, and then maybe push in a little bit more with these camps, as well as the level 10 advantage, which will be really huge for them. Raynor still holding his level 7, interestingly enough, maybe just unsure what exactly to pick now, since the talent which previously would have been preferred there, not quite as good now. They need to be careful down here, though, because level 10s are in for the side of I Like My Bread Boiled Not Fried, and Anubrak's going to try and burrow in to secure the camp, but he's not going to be able to. The Cocoon does come out onto Gul'dan, and he's going to have to be left by the rest of his team to die. And Venser even getting a little bit aggressive, looking for a kill onto Exorcist behind the towers. Not going to be able to get it, though. Raynor's still holding his 7 and hasn't taken his 10 yet, as we see the offlaners just rotating, double soaking, although Ragnaros does seem to be getting maybe a little bit ahead. That being said, though, it looks like Root Beer Guy is going to be able to get more XP globes from top than Mundane Zebra was able to get from mid. But both teams are going to kind of stabilize out a bit here. Level 10s are going to come in for the side of the blue team. We're going to see Horrify, the Sound Barrier, as I expected, 2 great talents to try and stop some of the aggression from the other side, as well as Grove for the Throat, the Stage Dive, interestingly enough, and the Entomb. We'll have to see if they try to use the Stage Dive to make some global pressure, try and offset the lanes a little bit. As we did see Sulfurous Smash, though, from the Ragnaros, so no need to worry about the Lava Wave. A slide and an Entomb onto Mundane Zebra, but that's going to be a clumped up front line, and the Polybomb from Medivh is going to shut them down. They're going to get killed. Greymane gets put in the cocoon as Exorcist and Widwen are trying to run away, but Exorcist isn't going to be able to get out. Not enough healing there. King Andrew going to get caught as well. He's going to try and roll out, but Venser's going to come down from the bird form and catch him. That's going to be a 4-for-0 trade from an engage made by Fat Dionysus, and Gul'dan even getting chased further by Widwen getting chased even further by Venser on the Medivh. The Shrine is active top, and 13 talent tiers are about to be up for the red team, as well as a 13-0 kill lead. Interesting, because I really feel like while they have been dominating team fights, it hasn't been too much. It just seems like the coordination isn't quite there from Fat Dionysus, which is something that I kind of mentioned happens a lot with these free agent teams. Right now, Leoric actually the highest hero damage, just solo laning into that Ragnaros, so it looks like they might be trying for a pick on with the Entomb here. They do have Medivh, though, who's going to pop out the Polybomb. The Sulfurous Smash going to come out, and even 4v2, Root Beer Guy looks like he's going to be the one who's falling. Exorcist is going to not save him, as he does fall. A 2v4, and Venser showing off his moves on that Medivh. He is terrifying on it, as the rest of his team is just taking this. As you can see, though, highest hero damage, beating Jimmy by 15,000 and Ragnaros by 13,000. Really just showing he's a threat to be respected on that hero. As the Punisher is going to come in, it is a Mortar Punisher, so good for sieging, but a little bit maybe squishier and less scary to the heroes than some of the other Punishers might be. But right now, the defense isn't even there. They're afraid. They know with that Medivh, they cannot bait it without the front wall there. So they're giving up this fort for free as Leoric tries to match the double soak, tries to get his team level 13. Doing a good job so far. We'll go ahead and look at XP. Ragnaros, though, is about 4,000 ahead, just really doing a bit better on the double soak and keeping it up for longer as Leoric tries to join the team to get those picks, which aren't quite working out for them so far. Root coming out and the break it down from Lucio, or the Sound Barrier, getting interrupted by Wex, sitting at 25 out of 30 on his level 1 quest. They're only needing a few more regen globes to get that bonus 500 health, which will help him a lot. they're going to opt to go ahead and invade this camp. They aren't up a talent tier, but Ragnaros is here, whereas Leoric is bottom lane, so this is a 4v5. I think Fat Dionysus might have gotten baited a little bit. They are going to be able to get out for free thanks to the sound barrier there, and really the red team just choosing to focus on the camp more than on the enemy team. But that could have been really scary if they stayed and fought thinking Mundane Zebra was matching the double soak, because that would have been a 4v5. Speaking of the double soaker and root beer guy here are going to have to walk away, as with newly acquired level 16 talents, we're going to see the red team go ahead and focus down the siege camp, which is on the blue team side of the map, but it looks like the red team really is saying, this entire map is ours, we're going to paint it red, and there's nothing you can do. Blue team looking for it, but a huge Sulfurous Smash going to catch ETC. He's going to instantly die. Mexican looking for the stay a while and listen. Horfly getting initially interrupted, but comes out. Not going to be enough to stop the cocoon, though, onto Lucio. Exorcist looks like he's going to be going down. And down here, we're seeing Widwen getting taken down by Mundane Zebra and Venser. And King Andrew going to have to retreat as well, although we're going to get taken out thanks to the meatball there, the living meteor from Mundane Zebra. And really, just this aggression is dominant from the red team. I like my bread boiled, not fried. Well, they're certainly boiling something, but I don't think it's bread, because there looks to be a blue team inside of that boiling pot as well, as it were. Definitely would expect the Medivh band coming in the second game, although we'll have to see if that is enough to shut down the dominance here that is coming out from them, as they're really just from the first second of this map putting the entire thing under their control, saying your shrine clear doesn't matter because we're just going to kill you. With that being said, Mundane Zebra getting focused a little bit, but they just don't have enough to kill him, so he just stays there. That being said, he does finally get taken out. A first kill for the blue team, not going to be a perfect game, as the sound barrier comes out from Exorcist. I did mention lots of late game power spikes from this blue team, so we'll have to see with that kill and the Punisher spawning pretty soon. We'll have to see if they're able to pull out a team fight. The Horrify and the Entomb coming out, although not really working together. Stage Dive going to come out, but it's too late. Leoric and Greymane are down. The Cocoon onto Exorcist, and the delay on the Stage Dive going to result in a 4 kills back to avenge their fallen comrade in Mundane Zebra. Venser caught on the wrong side of the gate, but he's not too worried. There's an Anubrak to spawn beetles, as well as a nice big minion wave, so he's not taking any shots there. And Raynor, he says, you know what? We've fought enough. I'm just going to take this shrine. Meanwhile, big wave pushing the top keep. Siege camp, two of the 3 left. Looks like going to be only 1 here in a moment. Pushing in the bottom. There is just pressure across the entire map against Fat Dionysus, and they're struggling to keep up with it, as the aggression from I like my bread boiled, not fried, is really just keeping them under check. Red team really just has Fat Dionysus under their thumb. Level 16 towns come in, and I think this is the best fight that is going to be had by Fat Dionysus. They're looking for it, but Exorcist already split off from the rest of the team. A huge stay a while and listen is going to catch them. Ragnaros trading the blue team's empty fort spot. A really nice sound barrier there coming out, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as we've got Lucio in the Cocoon, Dirk really low, King Andrew really low, Widwen getting decently low as well, although Rejuvenancia putting in a lot of work, but Leoric is going to end up being the one who falls there. Of course, the only one I'm not watching. And King Andrew getting caught here thanks to the portal and Mundane Zebra here as well. That's going to be 2 for 0, as well as the Punisher, which is frozen, which means it's going to lock down these structures, essentially functioning as if they had a Sylvanas. And with level 20s just around the corner, this could be a push for game, especially if they get more kills here in the top lane, like the kill they just got onto Widwen on the Gul'dan. They're taking down the keep. They're not even pushing mid with the Punisher. They're just going to try and end the game, maybe. But no, they are going to come back and try and loosen up the Punisher, although the Punisher is now ignoring the keep and just hitting the core, interestingly enough. So, half health Punisher and full health team. Root Beer guy getting caught by the Punisher stun, followed up by a Nubarak and Deckard, but Deckard Kane doesn't even need to be there. Huge stay a while. The Polybomb just putting in so much work here, locking down Dirk and Exorcist. And with 2 kills, Gul'dan not up for a couple more seconds as a kill looks like coming onto King Andrew potentially. Nope, he's going to be able to roll back into core, but it doesn't even matter because as we look at the stats here real quick, huge damage put out from Venser on the Medivh, really flexing, and it's going to win them the first game in this best of 3. GG. Oh, that's map selection. Match summary, we're here. So, a really just destructive first match going over to I Like My Bread Boiled Not Fried, 27 kills to 1. Like I said, I know these guys have played together for a long time. At least Wex, Venser, and Mundane. They've been on a Tespa team for since I started playing competitive HOTS, probably since before that. These guys know how to play together, and they're showing it. They're showing with the Medivh. They were always on point. With the Raynor, a relatively easy hero. The Deckard just sitting in the back line. I don't know how new these two guys are in Draco and Mexican, but they were looking good as well, and really just out-coordinating and just using the aggression to completely stomp Fat Dionysus in that first match. So I'll be interested to see what we see for the second game. What's it gonna be for the map? And alright, so we are gonna see the map pick selected from Fat Dionysus, and they take us to Cursed Hollow. Let me update it real quick. There you go. Now you can see it. So a lot more macro focus, and that's something that I think is pretty good for them. They're going to be able to hopefully get a little bit better footing on the map when they aren't feeling constantly threatened by and engaged by the Medivh or what have you. Although I expect the Medivh is going to get banned out anyway because there is the potential for the boss steals there. So that would be something I would be looking to see as we get invited to our lobby. Perfect. Just on time. Got both teams in here already, so should hopefully be getting underway any moment. So what would I like to see? I liked the comp of the red team a lot last game, but I think they weren't quite on the same wavelength, and they definitely got kind of beat up for not watching the other team. Sorry, I had someone come into my room and I'm panicking a little bit there. But yeah, a little bit of same for them. They panicked a bit. But we should hopefully be getting into our draft any moment now. Just had to let the guys know that I am ready. In any moment now, here we go. Got a nice delay here, and there we are. Cursed Hollow. I Like My Bread Boiled Not Fried is up one map. They completely tore apart the blue team thanks to Venser's Medivh and the aggression from the Anubarak. And we're gonna have to see how Fat Dionysus plans to turn it around. Morale might be a little bit lower. You've got a sub for the day. You've got a bit of a struggle against that team in the first map, but they're going to go ahead and get rid of the Medivh to start off, as I Like My Bread Boiled Not Fried also banning Deathwing. So neither team wanting to go against it, both first pick slots actually banning it, interestingly enough. So I'm not even sure either team really needed to ban it. In my mind, if you see one team ban it from first pick, you're not worried about needing to ban it again, but maybe just because of the stall and the global pressure on this map, they want to make sure 100% that it's not coming through. And we are going to go ahead and see the Johanna banned as well. Again, solid tank, able to do a lot on the defensive side, which was definitely a bit lacking in the first game. Lots of AoE and just heroes falling left and right for the blue team, so they need to look to be a bit more defensive, as we're going to see the Garrosh banned out, this time by Fat Dionysus, as it was banned out by I Like My Bread in the first game. And instantly, an Abathur pick. Abathur, nerfed a little bit thanks to the XP globe changes, but still very strong, especially on maps like this. And we're going to see the early pick onto him. And really, this just shows me that I think I like my bread. They know their drafting. They know their plan. They know how to outplay the other team every time. But we're going to see the Sylvanas, which was banned out in the first game, as well as Mal'Ganis, a very solid frontliner who is really just known for being able to be that disruptor who makes life hard for the rest of the enemy team. So gonna try and look a bit more towards maybe the team fight here in this second map, as well as the ability with Sylvanas to have that macro pressure, shutting down structures and pushing, whether it be with camps or something else. We're gonna see Blaze picked up here by Wex. Looks like maybe a main tank Blaze, something that I know my team has run a little bit, but many people not as comfortable with it due to Blaze being most people except more of an offlaner. We're going to see a ban here though, and this is going to maybe be onto a potential hyper carry, something like, okay, I was expecting maybe a Vala, but we're going to see the Illidan ban. So not wanting to have to deal with the hatted Illidan with the macro pressure, the semi-global from the hunt. And that makes sense. They know that the other team is very skilled and going to be able to execute on heroes like Illidan, so they don't want to even have to deal with it. On the other side, we're going to see a ban coming out onto the Lucio. There were some really nice saves there from Exorcist on the Lucio during the first game, so wanting to get rid of that is no surprise to me. And now we've got two picks here. I'd be interested to see, do we get some globals to counter the macro pressure from Abathur? We have a Li Ming from King Andrew, so looking for explosive team fighting, trying to get those resets. And then an Anduin from the side of Exorcist. So looking for a bit more defensive team fighting again, being able to pull back your heroes who are getting low, try and shut down the team fight prowess that we saw in the first game with all of that aggression. So what are we going to see? Should probably be an offlane and a damage. Maybe, okay, we're going to see Venser on Genji. Another very high skill hero, which, judging by the last game, I expect to be executed on, as well as Malthael being able to put in a bit more damage, because without it, they would be looking pretty low on the damage with their current team comp. But still, kind of interesting team comp, pretty squishy, not too much damage, but I would expect them to be able to do very well with it regardless. And we are going to see Dahaka coming out here to try and counter some of the macro pressure that permanent kind of global Abathur has with his hat, with his ability of body soak when he sees the enemy team out. They're going to try and punish that a little bit and keep up in the XP game. Both drafts are really strong here, but given the execution last game, I just have to think that I like my bread boiled, not fried, is going to be able to pull it out here. We'll have to see if FAT Dionysos can prove me wrong. They did seem to be a bit happier playing the macro game last time, so we'll have to see if they can pull it off this time. Going into Cursed Hollow, this is their last chance to turn this series around. Although, I will say, with the Genji, again, we do have very aggressive potential here for the red team. Might be something to watch out for, but we're going to go ahead and get into this game. Starting with, of course, the left team, FAT Dionysus, looking to turn the series around. We have Exorcist on Anduin, Dirk on the Mal'Ganis, King Andrew on Li Ming, Root Beer Guy on Dahaka, and Widwen on Sylvanas. Against them, looking for the aggression and the macro plays, we've got Draco Malcolm on the Abathur, Mexican Hanu on the Stukov, Venser on Genji, Wexandon on the Blaze, and Mundane Zebra finishing him out for I like my bread boiled, not fried, on Malthael. Going into the on a pale horse there, as you might expect, looking for the aggression. Interestingly enough, we do have Endurance Stim Pack, often considered the worst level 1 talent for Blaze, but maybe looking for a bit extra bulk here as we actually see a bit of a Locust build starting for the Abathur. Not something that you see too frequently in coordinated play, but given the execution that came last game, we might be able to see it really pop off in this match. Wex actually immediately heading to start clearing. He's just going to go ahead and leave Venser and Mexican on their own in the mid lane. He wants to try and get them, make sure that they're catching as much XP as they can, as Malthael getting bullied a bit by Mundane Zebra here, as you would expect. Malthael just an insanely powerful offlaner and a pain to go against. We are going to see the first tribute is going to be spawning here, so we'll have to see what camps people go for and when. Genji already on this siege camp, probably going to wait to cap it until the first objective is coming up to try and get in that global pressure. But right now, the blue team not going for any camps. I would hope that would change, as if they're not able to get camps out of their own, though interestingly enough, we see the siege camp capped already. Interesting, but I think I understand it. There was a lot of aggressive play in the first map, so it makes sense to try and have just aggressive play already now. They see that the blue team didn't go for camps, and they're saying, you wasted your time, we weren't wasting ours. Now you're going to have to defend our camps. Well, Malthael is taking yet another. Although, as I say that, Sylvanas is finishing up this siege camp for the blue team, so there is going to be at least a little bit of pressure coming out the other way. Root Beer Guy going for the tissue regeneration, but he is still going to be able to use those bushes to try and rotate a little bit. Sylvanas actually now getting put up against the Malthael in the top lane. Maybe hoping that that range will help her to do a lot better against him than Root Beer Guy was able to on the Dahaka. Exorcist getting hit by the jet propulsion, and Venser rotating in really quickly thanks to his cyber agility there, but neither Root Beer Guy nor Exorcist are going to fall. Exorcist using his tap. Root Beer Guy going to elect to just back. We might see him go down bot lane now to be able to use his global a bit more effectively, but the Bruiser camp is pushing in mid and getting a nice amount of damage onto the structures here in the mid lane. That being said, Malthael and Sylvanas ganking Mundane Zebra on the Malthael top and getting a kill, so a lot stronger start already maybe than the last game for our blue team here, although he will be up pretty soon if we are able to see the red team stall it out. Venser looking for the aggression onto Widwen, but not going to be able to land his shurikens and get the damage out, so he's going to swift strike out and just harass Root Beer Guy a little bit. But we do have the 5-man rotating in, a nice root onto Wexandrin, following it up by a huge stun coming out, but he is going to fall even with his trait going up. Durkadur getting a little bit low, Mundane Zebra just cleaving away and getting so much self-sustain. He is killing the entire team of of FAT Dionysus. Again, the coordination there just not there to finish him off, even with the reset off of Wex. And Abathur this whole time has just been soaking away, getting them ahead in that XP game. Although that being said, with all those kills, we are going to see Malthael actually ahead in XP. As Sylvanas falls solo to Genji in the top lane, I stop a moment to look at stats and look at the lanes, and we have Genji, just Venser popping off all game the first game, and now able to get the kill onto Sylvanas. One thing I did notice during the first objective is we didn't see that global used by Root Beer Guy. I believe he used it to go down bot after, maybe. But that's something that I would like to see from him. He needs to try and be in the opposite lane of the objective when it's coming up so that he can get as much global pressure as he can. Laming is great for poke. Sylvanas and Anduin also have some decent pokes, so they should be trying to use that so that Dahaka can get value and XP for them using that global. This is going to be favorable positioning for the blue team. Exorcist going to already try to start channeling, but Wex going to go ahead and interrupt it thanks to the oil spill there, being able to ignite it and interrupt for a long period of time. They're going to have to force him off first, although Root Beer Guy taking a ton of chunk, already popping his essence, Getting really low though, gonna have to burrow there using his stasis, and Mundane Zebra already right back onto the back line. The peel is just not enough, and Venser is coming in as well with the Swift Strike. Widwin getting really low, dying to the dot. Looks like King Andrew is going to fall as well, and Durkadurk is left all alone against the entire enemy team, and he's going to die as well. Only Exorcist and Root Beer Guy getting out, and Root Beer Guy again using his global to just head to the opposite end of the map, try and keep them alive in the soak game, but they're down 2 kills to 7. As we're going to see 10s come in any moment now, as well as the 3rd tribute, which will potentially be Curse. Interestingly enough, we do have Black Harvest, not something you see a lot here, but the trait value is coming out a lot for Malthael. He's getting so much healing and doing so much damage with his trait, so it kind of makes sense that he's going to try and spec into that a little bit more, since he doesn't feel pressured otherwise. And we have Monstrosity for the Abathur here. Draco Malcolm just going to AFK push all game with that. Hopefully we'll see it come in thanks to its global, join some team fights, but with the 10s, they're going to go ahead and say, you're going to be worried about the tribute, we're just going to take your boss instead and then take your bottom fort, although it is going to get figured out here. Exorcist actually getting dangerously close, but he's not going to be punished for it, as the red team is just focusing on this boss and just going to go ahead and take it. Durkadurk going to try and channel this, but I don't know if he'll be able to before Genji is able to get there. Lots of mobility from Venser. He's going to jump, and he's going to Swift Strike, but it's not in time, so they're not going to get the curse. That's really, really fortunate for Fat Dionysus. Going to save them a lot here. If they had to defend a boss, down 10s and down a curse, that would be the end of the fort for sure, although it may still get the fort here, potentially. No, not quite going to get the fort, but going to severely damage it. But they could have taken a lot more damage. Things could have ended up a lot worse there if they didn't get that channel, so good play there from Durkadurk, able to stop that, although, again, immediately onto the other boss is Venser, Wex, and Mexican. The rotations from this team and the taking of camps is just on point. They're constantly forcing the blue team to just follow them, and that has been a theme for the entire series. Really, really impressive stuff from them here. As we are going to see the Monstrosity up top, pushing along with it. I'm unfortunately not able to check its stacks, but we're going to trust that it's getting some nice stacks going on. Getting beefy, getting some nice attack damage. As Venser being found, going to get slapped, going to get dragged, and Wailing Arrow used, but it's a kill, and I can't help but think they're going to be fine with that, especially with the Holy Word Salvation coming out, and the drag onto Wex. He's going to fall too, more than likely here, but the curse is getting channeled by Mundane Zebra, and it's going to be in favor of the red team with this Monstrosity and boss pushing top, as well as a Bruiser Camp pushing mid. Luckily, those 2 kills are going to help the blue team of Fat Dionysus catch up a bit in XP. Although Durkadurk going to get killed by the last rites there, getting left behind a little bit by his team, or maybe taking a bit of an odd rotation. And caught out by Mundane Zebra, who has just been a menace on these offlaners with huge AoE damage every game here. Really showing us stuff, especially in this game. I think Venser had to be the MVP first game, but so far it's been Mundane Zebra who has been just destroying the backlines. As we have Draco Malcolm taking a camp here. Needs to be careful though, he's getting chunked. We'll have to watch his health bar in the top right. I'm certain he won't die for it. But pushing in is the red team as Mundane just goes ahead and with Mexican's help takes the Bruiser Camp. They're painting the map red, same as last game, and they've got all 3 forts down, as well as the 13 talent advantage for a little bit longer. Exorcist going to get the root to save himself there from Venser, as Venser goes ahead and dashes out. Abathur successfully solos the camp. A huge stun, Combustion getting channeled, and the silence stopping Exorcist's Holy Word Salvation. Huge Dragon Blade, huge damage from Mundane on the Malthael, as well as from Wex with the Combustion. And that's 3 dead, and they're already at the core. Could this be the end of the game already? No, it's not. Okay, they're leaving. Honestly, I think if they had a bit more siege, they might have been able to just end it right there, which is really just crazy to say. The kills looking a lot more even this game. but the structures are just getting destroyed here by the red team. They're already looking at the bottom lane here. They're going to go ahead and take out this front wall, pressure in a little bit. They are going to be able to take down the monstrosity, put that back on cooldown for a good minute and a half here. But the red team is just endlessly sieging while Abathur does his thing. Hats, soaks, gets them a nice XP lead. Malthael again, though, actually the one ahead, as we're going to see a nice Carrying Swarm as well as a really nice Holy Word Salvation. Going to end up with Malthael falling. Widwen trying to trade out here. Going to go ahead and accept their death there, getting ultimately killed by the Stukov Silence there. Flailing Swipe coming out for the disengage as the tower shots are coming onto Wex. Will he be able to get out? No, looks like he's going to accept his fate as well. Going to go for the combustion there, but he's going to fall, not getting a counter kill. So a little bit maybe sloppier, a little bit more aggressive than is safe, but really successful here as King Andrew going to get felled by Venser after a great deflect there from getting dragged, and going to be able to Swift Strike reset onto the Anduin and onto the Mal'Ganis. Rootbeer guy now just trying to get into his core, but he's not going to be able to either. That's a quad kill coming out from Genji. 1v4ing. Venser saying, I heard you call out Mundane as the MVP for this game, but hey, I want it back. Give me my title. I deserve it more than he does. And that being said, we do have the siege camp and a lane with some catapults pushing in here, but they're going to go ahead and settle on the red team for the objective. Going to go ahead and start counting up for their second curse, although I doubt that they will need it as lanes are going to stay pushed in, and it looks like the last keep taking some damage here for the side of FAT Dionysus. That being said, the blue team is looking towards their boss. So we go ahead and swap over here so you can see talents again. Full Locust build coming out for Abathur. Maybe going to try and backdoor the keep top. We'll have to see if he goes for that. But right now he's getting a little bit closer to his team. Maybe looking to be in position when the next tribute spawns. But even with knowing that Abathur's monstrosity is top, the blue team is just too afraid. They're down 16 still for a moment longer. They know that the red team's on this boss, but they're just willing to give it, and that's really scary because while it isn't super late game, this boss is still pushing directly into core, as well as this bruiser camp mid pushing in. That could potentially be game ending if the blue team isn't careful. Jet propulsion coming out, not going to land on anything. Wex Anduin going to pop his trait and start using combustion. Going to get a decent amount of damage, but not too much. The Carrying Swarm is going to come out from Durkadurk, get a little bit of damage, heal himself up, but not doing too much. That being said, though, the full health boss is going to go ahead and be pushing in. I'm going to pull away the towers here so we can see as much of the action as possible. Wex gets slept, taking a good bit of damage. Stuns Li Ming, though, Sylvanas into the boss stun. That's going to take him down. A nice Holy Word Salvation, mitigating most of the Dragon Blade, but it doesn't matter because Mundane Zebra is cleaving away and the Dragon Blade keeps going on, and Anduin gets picked off. Durkadurk getting low. Rootbeer guy popping his trait so that he doesn't die immediately. Going to be able to get back into core. Durkadurk not going to be so lucky, it looks like, as he gets stunned by Wex. Venser putting out a lot of damage, but actually gets taken out by King Andrew. A nice reset there. He's going to fall from the dot, though, and the boss is just hitting the core as these teams are killing each other. And GG is called by Durkadurk. That's going to be game 2, going over to I like my bread boiled, not fried. Whew, boy. An insane game there. Can pull away to the match summary here. Just so much damage being put out by the Malthael this game. I don't remember if... No, by the end, Venser on the Medivh was the highest damage. Although, in this game, Genji putting out tons of damage as well, tying Mundane pretty much for the highest damage in the game here. Really, both of these teams doing their best, but the red team showing that they have the coordination, they know how to play these more advanced comps, and they put on a show for us, for sure. So, any moment now, I'm going to go ahead and ask if we want an interview for the second team. interview room is a bit messed up. Here, one moment. All right, no response so far. I'll go ahead and pop to the towns here so you can check those out real quick. All right, well, it's looking like there is not going to be an interview here. So go ahead and I already set up for the interview. So you got the nice split frame there. There we go. Back to, oh, or not, because I was smart and put it into studio mode so that you wouldn't see it look dumb. Here we are. Now we're on me. A real professional. I know what I'm doing. But great series. Really impressive stuff put out by I Like My Bread Boiled, Not Fried. Oh, nope. We get the DM. Okay. Yep. All right, let me get back to the get on over to the interview. Pop on the logo here. Unless the logo just doesn't work. All right, logo not wanting to work. All right, here we are. All right.
Hey.
Hey, how you feeling?
Pretty good. 2-0. Definitely better than we did last time in Heroes Lounge, where we didn't win a single game. So I'd say we're doing.
Yeah, that was really impressive. I know that you guys have been together for a while. I watched you guys and I believe played against you guys one season in Tespa. But that was really impressive. Lots of flexing from all of the players there, including yourself. So definitely two very dominant games. So I don't quite have too many questions, but I guess to start off with, how are you feeling going into the series? Obviously, it's a free agent team, so you can't be super certain of what to expect.
Yeah, so to be entirely honest with you, I had no idea what to expect. All I had on data-wise was their last round in Heroes Lounge, and beyond that, I honestly didn't know too much. So we kind of had to face this looking at like, okay, we're gonna go into game one and we're gonna try and just get something dominant, try and get comfort picks, stuff like that. That's why we went with Infernal Shrines, and I think that worked out pretty well. So going into game two, we looked at it as, okay, we can go sort of flex out a bit now. Let's try something interesting.
Definitely. You guys had the coordination and even I think getting a little bit over aggressive towards the end of game two. Just you guys looked really confident and really were kind of showing off some higher skill heroes. I know you played support in Tespa, so I guess a question for you: how's it like being the main tank for the team?
So I have played both support and main tank in the past. This past year I played support. The year before that I played main tank, and the year before that I played support. So I think that it's not entirely foreign to me, but at the same time it's something that I have to get back into, because like I remember some of it, forgotten a lot of it, and I really just kind of main support the whole time. So I really just got to get back into it.
Definitely. Well, I'll say at least as a Nubrek player that I was really impressed with your Nubrek. Really on point play there. I'll let you go here in a moment because, like I said, not too many questions, but I do want to ask you, if you had to say one player was the MVP for the series, who would you say was the MVP for your team?
Ooh, normally I would have said, but I think that Venser didn't get his intentional death that he always gets in the first game. So I'm not sure if we can count that as a good play from him. So I'm just gonna have to say me because I'm clearly the best.
All right, I like it. Some nice self-confidence there. And you guys definitely looked on fire today. Wonderful series. I'll let you go. Or actually, completely forgot any shout-outs you want to give.
Actually, no, I don't really have any shout outs. Shout outs to the rest of my team, I guess, but that's all I got.
All right. Well, great series. Have a great night.
All right, thanks. You too. See ya.
All right, a really dominant series there. Got, I like my bread boiled, not fried. Putting on a clinic, showing off their comfort picks, like you said. That's all I got for this evening. Got another cast coming up tomorrow, but that's all for now. So thank you everybody who came out. I'm gonna go ahead and tune off. Maybe go play some Storm League. Maybe rank up a bit. But thanks everyone who came out. Thanks for the new follows during the series. We had Pika Wubs earlier and Azure Torisuna after that. But I'll go ahead and catch you all later. Good night.